This is Doug. I'm going to give a little instruction here on how to listen when I am rapid fire talking. How can you track what I'm saying? And it's easy to do. Uh, it just takes a couple of steps. So this is the YouTube control panel, if you will say. That's what it could be called. And this is closed captioning. But you can just go over here to the gear, call it the gear, and it will default to subtitles are off and will uh, default to playback speed normal. So however I talk, that's what's going to be. So let's say you want to slow it down, you can just do this and it'll default to normal, but you could go to 0.75. I wouldn't go lower than that. It's too slow at 0.5. And you could speed it up if I'm too slow for you in some cases, which is, I would think, not normal. Anyway, so 0.75, let's try that. And then I'm going to change also subtitles because sometimes this alone is all you need, and you need to see what that looks like. And you might not need to change the speed at all. If you can read as fast, we can always read faster than we can hear, actually, is I think what goes on. All right, so let's take a look and we'll play it back now and see what you think. All right, so let's experiment. I'm going to show you what will happen when you have the settings at English and playback 0.75. Let's see how that would help you or assist you to hear what's and follow what's happening. Verse 11, I want you to know, brothers, that the gospel preached by me is not of human origin. Anthropos, that's the word for human or man. For I did not receive it from man, anthropos. Again, that's human or man. I have not received it from any human. Okay, so I think you can see there that there's two ways of making sure you're following what's being said. You can just slow down the speed to 0.75. That's the next default. And turn the subtitle to your language. Here it would be English for most of you, and that would be a way of coping with the fact that I was born in Bronx, New York, and we speak very fast. There are reasons for that in Italian family, by the way. If you don't get a word in edgewise, when the heat grows in the conversation, everybody wants to get something in, and you have to jump in and say what you have to say quickly and jump back out. And if you don't mind, like to add a little levity here, and a little background on my growing up in the Bronx. This was a movie in 1977 known as Saturday Night Fever, and this is not typical of an Italian family, nor my family, but of many of our neighbors. Some family members are like this. And in 1977, I think I was about 18, 19 years old. So this was very contemporary of what I was experiencing. And now when I say you cannot get a word in edgewise in that culture unless you speak rapidly and get your point across quickly and you're done, otherwise you're just smothered. So there's no way you can speak regularly, slow talk and expect people to tolerate that. It's not going to happen. So that is an excuse. Yes, I know, but I do try to speak the way my dad told me to speak, which is slower and articulate each word, every syllable. And that was what he tried to drill into me because he became a TWA representative over the phone at the Pan Am building downtown Manhattan. And that's where they were training him to speak proper English. By the time I grew up, he had been very acculturated to speaking good English. But that wasn't true of my neighborhood and my other family members. And so I was exposed to both bad English. I don't want to say bad English, but I would just call it the street Italian English, what kids would speak like. And this is what John Travolta is speaking, Italian English. And he's generally a very fast talker. So let's listen to him and see what you think about this.
Every time you mention Frank Jr., you gotta cross yourself.
He's a priest, ain't he? Father Frank Jr., your brother.
Your mother doesn't have too much to cross herself about these days.
You're so jealous of Frank Jr.
Oh, shut up, will you? Hey, the shirt, wash the shirt, stupid.
Oh, come on. Basta! All right, come on. Mangia, mangia. Go ahead. Eat. I got more pork chops, more spaghetti.
What do you mean you got more pork chops? I'm out of work.
Yeah, well, as long as we got $1 left, we eat good in this house.
What?
Yeah, I might even get a job myself.
Like hell you will. 25 years in construction work, I always brought him a paycheck. What, 6, 7 months I'm out of work? One pork chop. One.
Hey, Frank! It's disgusting, right? Sick. We just washed the hair.
Yeah.
You know, I work on my hair a long time, and you hit it. He hits my hair.
Take care of his hair. I'm gonna take a walk.
Don't you walk me to church later?
Didn't you go already today?
Yeah, confession. I gotta go back and pray for something.
For what?
I gotta pray for Father Frank Jr. to call me.
Why don't you call him direct?
I want him to call me. A son should call his mother.
Wait a minute. You going to church to have God make Frank Jr. call you?
Right.
I don't believe it. You know, you're turning God into a telephone operator.
And so I'm not making excuses, but I think it's good to understand where people come from. And I am challenged. I'm challenged by my upbringing, and my dad taught me to speak good English and wanted me to articulate and go slow. That's what he was trained as a TWA representative, as I mentioned. So I hope I can get to that point where my dad wanted me to get. So with your encouragement, I will continue to try to get there. But on the other hand, I do have some cultural limitations that it's just an instinct of self-preservation that goes on in Italian community, Italian English speaking community. Um, so I also love the grandmother in this case, just to show you, it's very normal to have one speaker at the table who doesn't speak English but understands what's going on is wrong. And that would be my little grandma Graziella. She would say, basta, basta, that's enough. Manja, manja, manja. And when anything got out of hand. So it was a scene that when you saw it as an Italian American kid, you go, this is like a slice of life. Not necessarily in my family, because my father was very never unemployed. He had 3 jobs at one point. So he was always working as hard as he could. But I will also tell you this. My dad, for anybody who has cultural limitations, you want to overcome them, I can only tell you, my dad was speaking very good English when I was a young boy, and because he had been trained by TWA representatives. But when I heard his 1950s, early 1950s recording, they used to let the military man, my dad volunteered for the Marines, and he did a recording, and it showed his actual voice before his experience with TWA. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe what I was listening to. My dad hardly could speak English. It was now his parents totally spoke primarily Italian, and they could speak very broken English. So he didn't have a good upbringing in the sense of being exposed to people who speak very good English. So his speaking English was shockingly it didn't sound like it sounded just like John Travolta. Okay, he definitely had a very heavy Bronx accent, but somehow he overcame that. So I'm going to try to remember and be inspired by my father's obvious example. I didn't see it happen in real time, but I learned about it by seeing and finding that little disc that he'd given my mother for, I think it was a Valentine's Day gift that he sent from Camp Pendleton, California to my mother in Bronx, New York, while he was being in training camp as a Marine to fight in the Korean War, which he volunteered for. Uh, so that was a brave thing he did. So I have a lot of good memories of my father, good things that he tried to do to make our lives better, working 3 jobs and trying to teach me to speak very good English and so on. So I will try to reach his goals for me. All right, God bless. Take care, everybody. Ciao, bye.